Hello viewers, you are watching Beyond the Headlines on DDM television. Once upon a time, Bola Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, made a record-breaking action. For the first time in his administration, he unilaterally imposed a state of emergency rule on the subnational unit of the country. The only place that happens is in a dictatorship or a unitary system. Nigeria is a federal system. The subnational units are ideally formed to be coordinates to the federal government. This implies that governmental powers are not delegated on the subnational units. Instead, they are shared between the federal government and the subnational units. Therefore, reasonably, you could argue or you could say that both are equal. The Nigerian Constitution does mandate the federal government to prevail in the event of possible conflict with the subnational units. However, President Tinubu is not the federal government. The federal government comprises three units: the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. If this is so, why did the president unilaterally impose this order? The reason was that he was fully aware that he had the legislature in his palm. The lawmakers, who are rubber stamps, were always very eager to pander to his whims. They are more concerned to please the president than to obey the Constitution. That's why they did a voice vote in a blatant violation of the Constitution that mandates two-thirds majority to make any decision. In the Senate, for instance, there was no single dissenting voice, but all men chanted, "Eyes, eyes, eyes," in chorus of worship to the president.
To all of you for your patriotism, your dedication. Here again, we are full. As we were able to form more than two-thirds when you consider the leadership in the proceedings of the morning. And this afternoon proceedings, we have also met the mandatory quorum and surpassed. So as we are about to consider the votes and proceedings being distributed. So let me say this is an uncommon dedication to duties, and Almighty Allah in this period of Ramadan and God Almighty in this period of Lent will protect you and your families, bless you, and then keep you safe and grant you the wisdom and good health to continue to save your fatherland. Page 1495, page 1496, page 1497, page 1498. Distinguished Senator Plank.
The President of the Senate, our beloved leader and Chairman of the National Assembly, I am Senator Dicket Plank, Senator representing the people of Plateau Central. I rise to move a motion that the votes and proceedings of today, Thursday, 20th March 2025, should be adopted, having gone through it and discovered that there's no mistake in it, I move that it should be adopted to be the property of this Senate. I so move.
Distinguished Senator Garba.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Senate President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Garba Musa Maidoki, representing Kebbi South Senatorial District. I rise to second the motion that the vote and proceedings of Tuesday, 20th March 2025 be adopted. Thursday, 20th March 2025 be adopted. I so moved. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that the proceedings, the Senate proceedings 1 of Thursday, 20th day of March 2025 be approved. Those in support of this approval say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. Let me thank all distinguished senators once again for their patriotism and their zeal to save Nigeria, and pray that the votes and proceedings and the content therein will bring lasting peace to Rivers State, and all that all warring factions should sheath their swords and get ready to sit on a round table to bring peace to Rivers State in order to ensure that democracy continues to thrive. And also, we hope that all those who constitute the committee to oversight and oversee the activities of the administrator within the period of the emergency rule will do their best to ensure that prudence, accountability, and good governance reign in the government and before the eyes of the good people of Rivers State of Nigeria. I thank you all. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, and very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I rise to move that the Senate do now adjourn till Tuesday, the 25th of March 2025 at 11 a.m. I so move, Mr. President.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, I second the motion by the leader that the Senate adjourns to next legislative day for further legislative activities. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this August Assembly now stands adjourned to Tuesday, the 25th day of March 2025 at 11 a.m. prompt. Those in support of the motion for adjournment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Accordingly, the Senate is hereby adjourned to Tuesday, the 25th day of March 2025.
In the House of Reps, same happened, but one voice at the point protested, calling for a head count instead. Unfortunately, this voice...
Present the point of order. Yes, Honorable.
The Honorable Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, my name is Honorable Obi Agocha. I represent the great people of Iguano, whom I had not, whom I had South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, since the President's letter concerns proclamation, Mr. Speaker, the constitutional procedures that must be followed as enshrined in Section 305, subsection 6B, that says for us to consider this President's request that this House must have two-thirds of members present. Mr. Speaker, may I please ask...
We already have our attendance registers, Honorable colleague, and we will rely on that to ensure.
Mr. Speaker, this is a constitutional
Yes,
It's
we
the
are.
constitutional. Can we do a head count, Mr. Speaker?
There
we
is no.
ascertain that we have a quorum.
Yes.
We ascertain that we have.
Yes,
that
yes.
We have
our attendance register will guide us accordingly, Honorable. Please.
Sir?
Our attendance registers will guide us accordingly. Members are still signing, and at the end of the day, we'll take attendance.
Mr. Speaker, can that be made available now for the members to know whether we have formed a quorum? Whether we have formed a quorum, Mr. Speaker, as enshrined in the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, so that our deliberations are not going to be deliberations based on illegality.
It is noted, Honorable. Please, you can sit down. Sit down, please. Your point of order is noted. Please sit down. Contributions? Any more contributions? So we put the question. Are we ready for the question? Are we ready? Those in support of this request of Mr. President as amended should say aye. Aye! Those in support of this request from Mr. President as amended should say aye. Those against should say nay. There is have it. Thank you very much. Clerk.
The travesty of democracy displayed in the National Assembly had been foretold, not by prophets, but by fearless rights activists who had the premonition of what is happening today. Sowore, the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress in the last election, foresaw the event in the National Assembly.
Well, there cannot be peace without justice. I'm not calling for mayhem. They are the ones who have introduced mayhem into the polity. I'm not the one who woke up yesterday and decided that a governor, whether democratically elected or selected, he's the governor of a state, should be removed. And a sole administrator is put in place immediately. And they went straight to what they wanted, that is to release the allocation of the state to a person who is illegitimate. Whomever is thinking that National Assembly is going to come back and say, well, we disagree with this, I have a breach to sell to you. Nothing is going to happen. The National Assembly
To legislature, judicial branches, but in practice, this often tilts the president, not because them inherently demands it, but rather due to the influence of corruption and the concentration of as the head of the executive control over national resources. The control often extends to judiciary, meant to act as check on executive power. Unfortunately, these institutions, subservient to
this balance often tilts heavily in favor of the president. This is not because the system inherently demands it, but rather due to the influence of
instead of functioning as independent bodies, the judiciary prioritizes the president's interests over the people. As a result, the president's power becomes
decision-making processes. This control often extends to the legislature,
while the president's system is not flawed. The limitation and challenges of power.
Unfortunately, these institutions are subservient to the president, influenced by financial
powerful answer given by
or political pressure. This imbalance undermines the principles of democracy.
Very sad indeed. Nigerians will continue.
Instead of functioning as independent bodies, the legislature and judiciary prioritize the president's interests over those of the people. As a result,
and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more things. I am Tochi Kura. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Of other branches of government. While the presidential system is not inherently flawed, its implementation in Nigeria highlights the challenges of maintaining true separation of powers. Moreover, why are people in government not afraid of citizens? Listen to the powerful answer given by the Catholic Bishop Geoffrey Onah.
But worse still, a nation is doomed when its leaders are no longer afraid of the reaction of the people. The religious leaders of Israel at that time, the Pharisees and the chief priests, they wanted to arrest Jesus, but they were afraid of the people. It was only when they were able to manipulate the people that they eventually arrested Jesus and had him killed. Anytime a government is no longer afraid of its citizens, that nation is doomed. We can see what is happening in our country today. Who is afraid of who? Government? Afraid of you? Afraid of workers?
Very sad indeed. Nigerians will continue to be pawns in the political battle if they do not make the leaders fear them. But how can Nigerians make the leaders fear them? The answer is yours. You're watching Beyond the Headlines. If you like this video, do not hesitate to hit the like button, like my video, make your comments, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more exciting stories. I am Toshiko Raphael. Bye-bye.